Hello, everybody, and welcome to Splatoon Tourney Ludi tonight, Sunday night edition. My name is Falco Flyer. I am joined here with Saf and Toma. Toma, I see we're repping our big man tonight. How are we doing?
Yeah, big man, big fan. I am here. I am so excited once again to be joining you two on our, typical Sunday night broadcast here. We got a great lineup. Super excited to see you. Saf, how are you doing?
Toma, Falco. Always a pleasure. Happy to see you. Sorry, I have a cat in my lap. Cat cam for everybody.
Baby. Oh, yeah. Sweet baby.
Yeah. She's really excited for the quarterfinals of Division 4. That's why she's sitting in my lap right now. As you can tell, the look on her face is screaming excitement.
Eyes are so expressive. I love to see it. Hey, so we had a match happen already on Splatoon Tourney 1. This is a Division 4 matchup. Of course, we have a Division 4 matchup happening right now, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened. I'm so sorry for the video quality for those of you watching it on the big screen. But this is what happened in our match that, again, just ended about 30 minutes ago. We had 8K Ping versus Free Flow, 8K Ping up 4-1 going into the final moments here of the last match. And take a look at this defense here. 8K Ping trying to hold on, knowing that an offensive push from Free Flow is going to be coming in, and it's going to be a very, very strong push. Again, it's going to be a little hard to see for those of you watching on desktop, but we have 2 power claims at the ready, 3 power claims going to be at the ready, and a triple jump coming in. 2 of the claims going to go in. The third is going to miss, and the heavy is going to try to find a way to break back into the basket. It's just going to be them, but they're going to be spotted. They are going to be down, and 8K Ping is going to be one of your first teams moving on to the semifinals here in Div 8. One of the teams hoping to join them are Aquatic Vanguard or the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome Principal. So very, very fun matchup here we have, Saf.
Yeah, super exciting for both of these teams on the board right now. I mean, doing just absolutely phenomenal in their group stages, now making it into the quarterfinals, looking to find their top 4 spots tonight, opening on Crab Leg Capital with Rainmaker. But, Toma, one thing I want to point out here as we look over into this division and how they are doing so far. So 8K Ping has now found their top 4 ticket. It has just cashed that in just moments ago. But another team on the other side of the bracket, we have Torrent. And oh my goodness, Torrent has just been killing it this season, and as well as other tournaments that have happened in recent weeks. They've been doing so well. And then their opponents is actually cut off, unfortunately, in the bracket. But for every set when the game starts,
Saf, I love you so much. Oh, goodness. Oh, we're going to be rolling out here, seeing what they're bringing to the table. And I see a dually comp on the side of the DR here. That's very, very interesting. Rocking alongside that Zuka-wielding machine and the cooler on that pencil. And then on the other side, still another uncommon weapon that we're seeing there, Octo Brush. So this is a very interesting match.
I'm having a lot of fun with the vanilla splat dualies. I like that people are like, we need more crab weapon. And I'm like, you know what? But this is kind of a fun crab weapon to change up from oops, all splashes. And not only that, but the Democratic Republic is actually going to be running 2 dualies in this opening match here with a lot of follow-up from that pencil. And actually, the cooler user on Aquatic Vanguard is going to be that NZAP. And speaking of Aquatic Vanguard, they're going to be the first to pick up that Rainmaker and get some points on the board.
Yeah, and unfortunately not quite finding that checkpoint break there. This is a map that can be pretty hard to be able to find those breaks. It gets very stally out there in mid, and it's a long battle of neutral. Basically, no matter what mode you're playing this map on, something about it's just a little bit hard. I can't tell what. Maybe it's the big open space, all the grates to move around, may have something to do with it. But right now, Aquatic Vanguard doing a great job of getting up there in the DR's base, going to find that first checkpoint break, but not going to be able to add much to it. Ike backing up there, trying to stay alive, but going down to the Trizuka. Now it's going to give the DR here all the room in the world to move forward. It looks like they're going to be making a fast rush over here towards this right-hand side.
Yeah, and as they should be, because that pedestal is just within reach, as they are also going to do a mirror move of Aquatic Vanguard and break that first checkpoint. And now they have Aquatic Vanguard in a staggered position. Now finding 3 members down, they're going to opt to move across this grate slowly and steadily, but carefully. The juice is going to be online, so they will be down, but not out. And you can see a couple of squid rolls here and there, and we're down to the 9 mark for Sao Tome, and Aquatic Vanguard now trying to follow up.
Yeah, that is a huge push on the side of the DR there. And now Aquatic Vanguard, though, has to get all the way back out into mid here, but they've got to watch their side angle. That machine coming in, trying to get a pick, is doing a great job at avoiding those Rainmaker shots, and is doing a great job of just keeping Ike pressured here in the base, forcing them to drop down. They're gonna go down to the bucket there, who now has this Zuka out, wreaking havoc in the base of Aquatic Vanguard. And this team, the DR, they really know how to keep this pressure up. That machine finally going down, and another one as well, as Twig is able to finally break out here, coming around on this Rainmaker, trying to find a pick on it, but unfortunately going down onto a bomb. They kind of had, you know, the DR running back for a little bit, but it looks like they've recovered pretty nicely. Had a 2-down situation, are going to be able to pick off this Zuka. No,
wow.
Not quite yet. No, not even that picks them off. Commentators first there. But Nerd, no, instead, not for Nerd. Nerd's living. Nerd's going to find a pick. Nerd may even find one more. Nope, I should stop speaking now. Shit.
I mean, they were so close, so incredibly close there to trying to get into the pick, but also just kind of threading the needle through everything that Sao Tome was throwing at them, but they just have it locked down on this right-hand corner here. And you can see Aquatic Vanguard, again, a little bit staggered and on the back foot, trying to come out of the spawn here, but finally, Ike able to get one pick, assisting with the second. You can see now Aquatic Vanguard is trying to push their way forward. They have the Rainmaker in possession and really solid hold of mid, and especially with Nerd having that Trizuke out. Unfortunately, though, going down, I believe, to the Snipe Rider. So a really good shot by the Snipe Rider to be had there. But now, once again, a reverse scenario where Aquatic Vanguard is finding themselves on the right-hand side here. You can see the Snipe Rider is in a very good position here, though, to try to displace and move them around, and they do that successfully, even though they lose their life in the process here. So, a little less than a minute left. Look at how much paint is in front of this spawning area of Sao Tome.
Yeah, but that trade coming out from the pencil may have been able to really save them here. You saw how long it took for Aquatic Vanguard to back up, and now just finally able to pick up that Rainmaker again before just going right back down to the people. And that just stalled so much time, gave them space to set back up here again by the fact that they were even just able to trade that. And they're able to continue up that pressure right now, Saf, as they have basically a delayed wipe onto Aquatic Vanguard. Just 20 seconds remaining here now in this match. They've got it set up here in a pretty good defensive position. They've got a lot of, just as I said, not a lot of ink between them and the enemy. The brush is deciding to make that not correct, and Ike is here shooting at that Rainmaker, trying to find the pick on it in the pit. And they can't shoot it, but it finally goes down. It's in a very awkward position now, though, for Aquatic Vanguard, stuck in that corner there in their pit stop. There is a long road in front of them to get down to 8 points if they want to take the win here.
Yeah, an unfortunate spot for Cookie to get stuck and not able to kind of push forward up that wall to keep the Rainmaker moving. But Aquatic Vanguard now, again, in a good setup, having Nerd on that high ground with that Trizuka, clearing that right-hand elbow, allowing for safe passage to get up there and prevent any sort of flank from coming in. But you can see that Ice is trying their best to get in there and trying to get the flank taken out. Only 2 members of Aquatic Vanguard left alive, and Ike is just kind of holding on to this Rainmaker super tightly. They are going to opt to jump down, but now they're the only ones left with only a few seconds left in overtime. There's no one there to help them defend, and so Sao Tome coming in strong on game 1.
That was huge there, Saf, and Sao Tome there really just kept the absolute most pressure on Aquatic Vanguard there at the end. Even if they went down, made sure just, hey, somebody keep that pressure up. We don't want to let them further into our base, because you saw what happened earlier, Saf. When you let AV into your base, they will wreak havoc. They wanted to prevent that at all costs, and they were able to do so really well.
Yeah, and to be fair, Aquatic Vanguard was able to respawn and get back in it and get back into the thick of it really easily. So, I mean, just even from that opening game, from what we know so far, from what we can see, both teams are very strong. they know exactly what's going on and they know what they're doing. But if you folks, you gotta know we have 3 different matches being streamed here tonight, Splatoon Tourney 1 and Splatoon Tourney 2. And looking ahead, it's looking like Squidlet Overdrive actually was able to take the game 1 over on Splatoon Tourney 1, but we're mid game on Splatoon Tourney 2 getting started into the first round here. And it's a nail biter at that, only a few points difference over on Splatoon Tourney 2. So if you want to, make sure that you're tuning in to either of the places there. But Toma, back to the museum. I mean, hold on now. Season ticket holders here of going to the museum and playing Clan Blitz, no less. Both of these teams are really strong competitors. They've been around for a long time. And I mean, 'tis the season for teams disbanding, but we won't go into it. But Aquatic Vanguard and Sao Tome are 2 teams that have been staples, fixtures. These 2 teams are fixtures in the community, and we still get to see them play time and time again. And we've actually get to be lucky enough to welcome them back onto the Splatoon tourney screen, which is super exciting.
Yeah, I love to see these teams that have just survived through everything. And, of course, they may not be the same roster that they are a year ago or whatever. Players have come, players have gone. Keep the team's legacy alive. Really cool to like that. Like a huge names here, but they're going to be rolling out here into the museum. Causing a little bit of a mess. Hopefully they don't get kicked out. I don't know if that's like a violation in holders, rules and regulations, but one gonna go down on Aquatic Vanguard early on, and oh my gosh, no, look how quickly that situation traded. That one didn't matter. They took 3 on the DR. Twig now moving up here, trying to get a pick here in the base, gonna find a trade. Just there's a bloodbath going all around yourself.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you want if you are, if you're Sao Tome. You want the Aquatic Vanguard to overextend themselves, which is exactly what's kind of been happening here. You can see now Sao Tome having really good footing for trying to enter back into mid here and just putting a lot of ink down on the ground. But Aquatic Vanguard too, clutching their pearls a little bit with this one. They don't want to overextend, but they want to make sure that the economy's in their favor. The man advantage surely is in their favor, and this way now coming out, you gotta wonder what's happening in that voice chat right now, because they know they want to push forward onto that plat as quickly as they can, but no. Sao Tome, quick to respond, take the plat back in their possession, and especially with Micah being able to have so much range and push back up, with the Trizuka also holding down another side of the map and the crab tank getting set up. I mean, good special stacking by Sao Tome, not losing any ground.
Really trying everything that they've got in mid, but they here with this clan, it looks like not wanting to push out too far without their teammates. That thing to be able to open the basket. It looks like they're going to instead choose to throw it back here to one of their further back options. These sculptures that can play from a safer distance than the rest of their weapons, but just as I talk about being safe, they are going to go down. And Twig going to be making the move in here on Micah. They're finding the pick, but trading out their life. This is just right now the biggest game of neutral. No one has really been able to get the solid lead that they need to be able to get up onto each other's spots. We see trades going out in these big battles in mid, but none of them have really panned out right now. Twig is forward taking that space, but they don't have the clam economy at the moment to really make a push off. They're going to try to build that up fast here. They do have a power. This now, Sap, this is where it can come together, but the power clamp goes.
Oh, I felt that in my soul. Unfortunate, but thank goodness Senna was there to try to follow up and make it work. You can see Ike was looking to maybe try to take the high ground, trying to help Nerd out in the process, but unfortunately not quite able to use the space like they want to. And there we go. There's some follow-up coming in from Ike. Now, Ike, now you can throw clams into the basket. It's okay, but Sinnoh is also going to be there quickly to follow back up. But good retreat, though, for Aquatic Vanguard there. They had a blunder, and they made it work. They got it down to the 65. We finally got a score in. We were 2 minutes into the game, and we finally have a score on the board here. But Sao Tome is going to take full advantage of that almost full wipe that they were able to get on Aquatic Vanguard, and they're going to opt to push forward here. The trade coming out on the brush. I mean, Twig is relentless throughout this game so far, Toma. They are in Micah's face mostly, so the pencil definitely having some issue with getting set up and trying to get some more paint on the ground for Sao Tome.
Yeah, they're trying to do that right now, though, and Sinnoh is here on this side block, trying to move in, makes the jump, is able to add a clam to that basket. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to make any additional score here, but it is going to knock a little bit of penalty off, and it's going to keep up this pressure on to Sao Tome. They do have to be careful here, though, Saf. They did give a power clam to Sao Tome, so now they need to be really careful not to let them in, because those 2 power clams could just easily flip this lead that they've got going for them at the moment, and that's not something they can afford with about 50 seconds left in this game. But right now, Aquatic Vanguard, it just has a lot of orange on this map. Look at all these bombs coming out, too. They need to be careful after losing 2 members, though. This is now Sao Tome's chance to get this together.
Yeah, and Cookie and Micah with targets on their backs. They have the man advantage again here. They're trying to open up the jump to the plat. You can see now Sao Tome is closing in on this plat area. Huge clam economy on their side as well, with 2 members of Aquatic Vanguard going down. The throw has now been made, and the lead now being lost. I didn't even see the second power clam go in, Toma.
Oh, and that's exactly what I was talking about. You didn't want to see if you're Aquatic Vanguard, unfortunately, but this isn't over yet, Saf. There's 10 seconds left in this game. They do get that power clam, so they are going to be able to trigger overtime. It looks like the Heavy's flatling pretty close to being able to make another power clam as well, but they are going to have to break through Sao Tome's defense, and that is a tall task. It's with the overtime timer ticking down. Twig is going to find a pick off it, though, and they're going to move in here. Sinnoh needs to get forward into that basket. They have 2 down. They don't have a lot of time left. They're trying to move in. There's 3 down.
Yeah.
This would be their chance.
Oh.
They got the basket connected. The lead.
Okay. Aquatic Vanguard, that opening to get back in and take the lead was huge, because Twig being the nail in the coffin was Twig being in the Zipcaster. I'm not sure if we got the replay on that specific play, but I mean, Twig being able to go forward here, yes, great. Okay, 4 seconds left remaining. You can see Aquatic Vanguard, wind in their sails. They got a power clam in possession. They are closing in on this ramp area here. Keep an eye on Twig, okay? There they go. But watch over on this right-hand side. They get the pick, assist from Ike. Twig zooming in with their Zipcaster over there. They did get the trade, but they took 2 people down, which allowed Aquatic Vanguard to pincer inward and take out Micah and 1 other member of Sao Tome in the process here. So Twig being able to get in with that Zipcaster was the opening that Aquatic Vanguard needed. Look at that, over above on the pillow there. That is exactly what they needed, and that trade was well worth it for Aquatic Vanguard to get that power clam in. So very, very good last-minute tactics by Aquatic Vanguard. I mean, that just goes to show, folks, sometimes when it comes down to overtime, you gotta keep a level head, you gotta communicate, and just deep breaths, and just try to work off of what you have. You gotta work with what you have. You can't fantasize about what you need, you have to work with what you have, and Aquatic Vanguard did just that.
Yeah, it's something teams struggle with, but right now, taking a live look in at our other 2 our streams that we've got going on, both in their second game as well. We've got Squidlet Overdrive versus Squid Salad going in there in a pretty tight game. Looks like scores are trying to happen there at the moment. Anarchy Sunday won that first game against Splatastrophe, and they're kind of duking it out in what looks like a very neutral game as well there, as they are kind of, 0-0 with 2 minutes left in that. It looks like actually is 1-1 now over on Splatoon Tourney 1, but we are back to regular the main channel Splatoon Tourney 1-1 here. Aquatic Vanguard versus Sao Tome, and we're getting ready to go into Umami Ruins Splat Zone. Saf, tell me a little bit about this map now that you've kind of, still feeling out the teams a little bit more, but what we've seen from these 2 teams, kind of reconning it out, getting that information. What do you think we'll see here? I say as they're loading into the game.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like what AV and what Sao Tome are running is perfectly fine. So no changes from Sao Tome. We're still running that double dually, which I really just love. I'd admire. Chef's kiss, really, from me. But on Aquatic Vanguard, I enjoy seeing Ike bring out this Forge pick because it's very unconventional. I myself used to play a lot of Forge, and I haven't really been doing it as much just because it's really difficult, and I feel that Machine just does what it does, but better. So it's kind of an interesting pick, I think, to come out. And I really like seeing weapons like these come out into like higher stakes games like this. And Sao Tome has a really, really solid opening here with getting a few points on the board. We're only 30 seconds into the game, and they are just ticking their timer away. You can see them closing in on this ramp area on Aquatic Vanguard. They don't want to allow any jumps down to be had, but as you say it, here comes Twig once again with that Zipcaster like we got to see last game, and they do have the Crab Tank being set up. A quick pushback by Aquatic Vanguard, taking the zones in possession.
Yeah, for sure, but push to 53, pretty good opening up. Not going to be, safe, especially with how lockout heavy of a map this is. And you see the trade going down there. Cookie able to trade out their teammate, as now it's Sao Tome trying to move in on this zone. They have that cooler up, but they're just trying to look at a way to actually be able to break in here, which can be pretty difficult when you've got that pencil and that brush on high ground that can just shoot all this ink at you as you try to approach. Twig gonna back up as they are facing some heavy fire now, though. The Sao Tome is gonna be able to cap these zones, and they can't really push forward yet at the moment. They still need to find some picks to get forward, and that's gonna be one of them. Finding Twig with that Trizuka, they do lose the zone to the Booyah, but are just gonna cap it real fast and keep this push going. They're almost through their penalty now. They just need to watch out for these incoming specials, and especially for Twig here, the Zipcaster gonna find one.
Yeah, and even upon the recall, they were able to take one splat with them as they were returning to home base, returning to Energizer back to where they launched off here. So Aquatic Vanguard now going to be disabling their penalty here, going back to the regular points, and they have Sao Tome in a good position, a good lockout here. They just got to hold steady, stack the specials, kind of regroup, and not overextend yourselves up the ramp, but also be watching for who is going to be trying to flank on the right side there. And that Crab Tank for Sao Tome is exactly what you don't want if you're Aquatic Vanguard. And you can see Ike was trying to pick the fight there, maybe take a little bit of distraction away from the objective, but ends up going down. So Aquatic Vanguard now in the reverse scenario, and you can see Sao Tome is wasting no time at all to be pushed up into the ramp section here. But with a crab of their own, Aquatic Vanguard is going to try to clean them out and try to break back into mid, and especially with one splat on their side, they just got to get a couple more to get that advantage to get back out.
Yeah, and they're trying to do that, but they got to get this paint down. They've got to find some picks. They do find one onto the machine, and they're able to neutralize one zone to be able to kind of stall it out. They find the pick onto the dualies and are moving in on Micah there on the top, who's just trying to get out. They do get the jump out, and Cookie goes down, jumping in. Now they're going to be able to cap this zone for pretty much free, and they're set up now. Twig's already got that Zipcaster up and running to try to create as much havoc into the base of Sao Tome as possible, which is exactly what they need to do. Unfortunately, not going to find anything with it, but was a little bit of distraction play. Lets them eat through basically all of their penalty here as they're gearing up to score, and with 2 down on the side of Sao Tome, this is a great position for Aquatic Vanguard to be in.
Yeah, and you could see that Micah was kind of having a firefight over on the side there with Ike, but I think that it was in their favor because they want to build up that cooler as quickly as possible to give Sao Tome the advantage to try to push back in. But the lead now being flipped, Aquatic Vanguard, so much wind in their sails at this moment. They have all eyes forward on the spawning point of Sao Tome. They don't want to give them any more space to work with. But what sucks about a double zone is that you have 2 points that you need to pay attention to. And you can see Aquatic Vanguard was really keen on holding one of them, but they just couldn't quite fight with the other. And unfortunately, if you're able to gain advantage on one side of the map, chances are you will take the zone into possession. And so Sao Tome now breaking back out into mid, but they have a lot of ground to cover here, as the lead that Aquatic Vanguard has maintained for themselves is a solid one, especially with 40 seconds left remaining in the game. The teamwork between Twig and Ike too, you really got to be cautious of that one, Toma. You got to be careful, because if Twig is going to be zipping around with the map and trying to get your eyes to focus on them, I mean, it could be just absolute chaos for Sao Tome if they're not careful.
It absolutely can, but this is kind of where it comes down to the final moments. They just need to be able to hold on to these zones, as this lead is going to be flipping once again. And now Aquatic Vanguard has the big task of having to cap both of these zones, not just one. They need to have control of both. As 5 seconds count down, the Forge goes down, Squig goes down, and that is going to be game as Aquatic Vanguard wipes out, and the DR takes another game in this set.
Yeah, Sao Tome's foothold, once they were able to get through that penalty at the 46-second mark that they had earlier, I mean, it was smooth sailing from there, man. Like, they as soon as they were able to do that, they were immediately able to stack their specials. They were keeping their eyes in the pit for whoever was going to try to drop down. They didn't really take too much heed or distractionary points away from Twig, if you will. They noted that Twig was present, but they did not let the Zipcaster falter their defense here. You can see as that penalty is gone, a thing too, those point sensors coming out were absolutely huge because they want to know where Aquatic Vanguard is going to try to be, especially if you have somebody like Twig that is going to zip around the map, and they are going to try to be sneaky and shark and fly around and also have teammates to try to help follow up with them kind of thing. So those point sensors are probably super key as well, but then once two people go down, it can kind of just snowball out of control from there. And so, I mean, solid gameplay all around from Sao Tome, but again, still things to consider against Aquatic Vanguard, because Aquatic Vanguard's offense, once they get the ball rolling, I mean, it's so strong.
Yeah, absolutely, Saf. And I mean, these games, they've been so back and forth and so close every single time. These are not wipeout games. These are not just games where they go in and knock each other out. They're back and forth. We see leads change at the last second. We see overtime happening in these. This is just so good. First of all, I don't think I could have asked for a better match here tonight, but these teams are really showing why they stand out among the crowd, why they've made it here to the Division 4 quarterfinals. It's just brilliant teamwork, brilliant plays, absolutely wonderful. We're going to be going into Manta Maria now, though, on this TC. Going to be the last mode that they haven't seen yet, so kind of their final opportunity to gather some information about what each team is going to do before they start moving on to repeat modes. Seeing what they're going to load out here, I'm going to, I might move up to the mast. Might seems like a little bit safer area to, kind of relax and watch the fight go down. Let's go head up there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the S-Blast pick, and it's solely because of the new S-Blast kit that is going to be coming out in chill season in just a few days. Good. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting if you're a blaster player, and I feel like our S-Blast folks or our blaster folks are just kind of having a good old time trying to de-rust the old blaster that maybe we've put away for a little bit. And that's no different here for Aquatic Vanguard. So opening firefight, Sao Tome in advantage, having two members going down. They do have the Booyah Bomb in their back pocket, but they're not going to let that deter them from just taking this tower, moseying on over to checkpoint number 1. Not quite getting any points on the board for it just yet, but points on the board nonetheless. And so a 2 versus 2 situation now, as once again, these teams are both so good at making an opening statement when the game first starts and finding themselves in advantage and disadvantage at the same time, but Sao Tome wasting no time following up, trying to get that checkpoint down.
No, they definitely are not as they break through that. They've got this bunker in their possession. Going to be poking up at Ike, who is not able to defend that bunker. And now they've got some jumps in here too, as well as they're going to be slowly approaching this checkpoint too. Not quite ready to get it yet, especially as they're trying to get these other members. But these point sensors coming in handy there as they're able to find someone around the corner, knowing exactly where to aim. And then Twig has that back to kind of follow up and make sure that they're not able to get another person down, though, as this tower kind of returns to a neutral position, but Sao Tome keeping up the pressure. That's 3 down, Saf. Sao Tome is not giving up mid. They're not giving up space. They want this checkpoint really bad. They're already here on this left-hand side, too. They've got bunker. They've got left. This is just textbook plays of where they need to be positioned to try to get this checkpoint down. They just need to watch out for this Booyah Bomb and be careful about how Aquatic Vanguard's going to move in on them.
Yeah, and it's exactly as you said. This is textbook because tower control is very much textbook. I mean, folks, that tower only moves at 1 speed. It's not going to go any faster or slower no matter what you want it to do. And so when it's in, every point matters because at any position that it's at, you know where you need to be and you know where you need to look out for. And both of these teams are keen on that. They know exactly what they got to do and where they got to be. You could see Cookie was trying to play a little bit of a game of chicken, and they were able to win against Ike, but then they themselves were traded in the process a little bit later there. So Aquatic Vanguard going to take full advantage of that, and they're going to get this tower and ball rolling down to the 68 mark, even though they are at a disadvantage with this moment, having now 3 members down. The other 2 that were down are now respawning back in. Only a few points away, less than 10 points away to try to flip the lead around, and so they just got to hold steady here, not go in for too many trades, like recognize what fights that you can take, and before they really want to try to put a break in Sao Tome's armor into their offense here, and that's exactly what they're going to do as that trade goes down on the screen there. But still, Aquatic Vanguard finding themselves with 2 men down, 3 members of Sao Tome now on the tower as we move into the street.
Yeah, Cookie hiking that jump across the left and now leaving just Micah on that tower. Sinnoh trying to get them off. Micah is going to back off there as Cookie tries to just clear this space for them to be able to ride. This is such a hard checkpoint to break. You're covered or surrounded by high defensive ground on all sides. You've got this long street that you need to really be able to push through if you want to be able to get behind anything. And Aquatic Vanguard is doing really well at holding it. It's really hard for Sao Tome to be able to break this, even though we've seen what kind of aggression they have. They're doing all the right things. They're going where they need to go, but it just sometimes doesn't work out because this part of the map has such an advantage for the defender. And right now, speaking of an advantage, the tower giving a little bit of an advantage to Sao Tome there and saying, hey, like, what if I just block that reef slider so it doesn't, splat you?
Yeah, and the timing of that just really unfortunate for Nerd, because you could see the wheels were turning. They had a plan, but the tower had different plans. The tower had different things in mind, and it blocked that reef slider. So Sao Tome is going to just stroll right through the street, about to round the corner here, but unfortunately going down. But doesn't matter because Aquatic Vanguard in the wipeout. They are in a wipeout scenario. They are trapped in their spawn. I mean, look at that. Look at that wave breaker up in the corner. That's player 5 for Sao Tome doing work over there, but 3 members now going down. It was a short-lived run there for Sao Tome, but they are down to the single digit with 14 seconds left remaining. I mean, the uphill battle is all Aquatic Vanguard right now.
Yeah, and I've never called a match before it happens, Sap. We've seen insane things happen here at Ludi. We've seen things happen on other tournaments. We've commentated together. Anything is possible, but, going 3 down is definitely not the way to get into that situation. And this is just a very, very hard map to get past that. And I think that, unfortunately, that tower blocking that reef slider just really created the perfect opportunity for Sao Tome.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, dang, like, if the environment didn't destroy my plan, what would have happened? So unfortunate circumstances for Nerd in that moment. But on the screen, there once again was the wipeout happening for Sao Tome. This was Aquatic Vanguard's moment to try to follow up, get some paint on the ground, try to get something moving here. They were trying to meet Sao Tome in maybe like 2/3 of the map, not so much the middle, but not able to take the fights, because especially when you're getting to the overtime scenario, if you lose one of your mates, that can just be what ends the game for you, unfortunately, for Aquatic Vanguard here. So not quite able to get the tower back rolling over, and Sao Tome was going to take and hold on to their lead for that game. But nonetheless, we're starting back over Toma. We're going skateboarding. I'm more of a scooter gal myself, but we're going to go to Humpback Pump Jack and try to show off our tips and tricks of the game.
I love you, Saf. I love you so much. But I'm excited to see where this is gonna go, and I really think that this map, all of them, really is gonna be a good opportunity for Aquatic Vanguard to get back in this. A good opportunity for them to get that momentum rolling. Because you know what weapon I am thinking of when I think this. Oh my gosh, we're all big fans here. If you can't tell, that's fantastic. But this is, I think, where we can see Twig shine. That brush, this, like, just the shape of this map, all the, curvature and the way that it's laid out, I think this is going to be the perfect opportunity, really, for Twig to shine and to get Aquatic's foot back in this game.
Yeah, all non-shooters out there, this map was made for you. All my rollers, all my buckets, all my brushes. this map was made for you. This map was meant for you. And Toma, what I also find so entertaining about this is that we're watching Splatoon 2. We're on Splatoon tourney, and we're taking a step back in time, and we're in 2023 of Division 4 quarterfinals in Ludi Season 14. The battle just ended, but nonetheless, we're taking a step back in time, and we're watching a Splatoon 2 game. And I even say that too because both of these teams were around in Splatoon 2 in the peak of Splatoon 2. They were both there. We were there, they were there, and we got to watch them in Ludi during that time as well. So pretty neat to get the opportunity to do that. But you know what, Toma? Enough of that. What's going on over on Splatoon Tourney 1 and Splatoon Tourney 2?
Yeah, so we see 2-3-1 situations over there for Splatastrophe and Squidlet Overdrive right now, who are taking the lead on both sides. We see our lovely Spicy over there commentating for us. Oops. Okay. So those were some look-ins at what's going on over there on our other two channels. Of course, open those tabs, look in at those games as we're progressing on. But we're going to be getting ready again, hopefully this time starting the game when we load up into Humpback Pump Track stuff, as you were talking about before. Kind of as what we were both mentioning, these non-shooter options. So we've seen that machine come out. We've seen the brush come out. Are going to be really, really good options here just due to the curvature and the way that this map is laid out. But yeah, this also can very quickly turn into a game of just Splatoon 2. You said both of these our teams have been around for Splatoon 2. Get an early wipe, get a, delayed wipe situation onto a team. You can break that checkpoint 1 pretty easily. And then after that, as we always say here, Saf, both checkpoints are gone. You're playing Splatoon 2 again with, less missiles.
With just slightly less missiles, maybe not as much as you would think, but just slightly less, ever so slightly less. But that's okay because we're not playing Splatoon 2, we're playing Splatoon 3, okay? And you do have those checkpoints in the way, but very obtainable checkpoints, might I add, because you have the firefight where a lot of the close combat fighting happens over on that right-hand elbow side. That is the heart and center of that first checkpoint, so you got to be super careful when you're trying to take the Rainmaker over that way, and especially if you're Aquatic Vanguard in this scenario, because 2 blobs, Toma? 2!
Hello? Like, what are they cooking, Saf? I was not expecting. And a sploosh? Like, what is going on here? I'm sorry, I don't even know. But right now, Aquatic Vanguard Twig is there trying to find a pick, but goes down. Unfortunately, Nerd picks this up, but it doesn't see the sploosh coming behind. Didn't know the sploosh is able to pick them off and is now here just being an absolute nuisance, trying to stop this Rainmaker from being popped and maybe even pop it themselves. But no, gonna back up and are they gonna spot where they are? They're like, these splooshes are hard to keep track of. Saf, and there's a sploosh on both sides.
Yeah, there's 3. 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 There's 3 of them. That's 3 hammers too many, if you ask me. But you have all the rain on your side too. You make it rain if you're Sao Tome, which is just perfect for them for trying to maintain some ground. And I mean, hello, poking damage. Our name is Democratic Republic of Sao Tome and Principe. That's exactly what you want if you want to try and deter Aquatic Vanguard from trying to push forward. And I mean, the lead has now been lost. Sao Tome having a strong foothold on the lead here, and the wipeout now occurring on Aquatic Vanguard. So this is Sao Tome's moment to end this game pretty quick, Toma.
Just the blob down there. Do you see that, Sock? The blob's just like, hey, I can't get up there, but what if I just gonna lob some blobs, blob, right on up for you and paint that pedestal? What? This is crazy.
Yeah, okay. Are they chatting?
I feel like they have to be, right?
Are they talking? Are they talking to each other? Was this planned? I feel like, are we unpunked? Is Ashton Kutcher gonna come out?
They're farming this set for content on us specifically. And that's crazy. That's insane.
Okay, well,
I
that
don't even,
happened.
I don't
That
even know what to
happened.
expect now. Like, cause that just like I could talk about Inkblot Art Academy and what I would expect to see out of Inkblot Art, or like, and talk about like what we see on the map, how it's laid out, what weapons would be good, but like, what does it mean anymore? What does it mean?
Right? I mean, were they just like, let's spin the wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on, that's what we're playing. But then for Twig was like, actually, I don't want to play. I'm just gonna play Brush. Have fun, nerds.
Have fun, nerd specifically.
Yeah.
We're wishing fun to nerd. But yeah, that is wow. I literally, I'm sorry, I've never been this speechless before in a set, because I don't even know what to say about that. And I'm like, are we gonna see a return to normalcy for this? Like, and now if you're Aquatic Vanguard too, right? You're in a 4-1 situation. You gotta take the rest of this set now. And I don't know if you do that with double sploosh sets. Like, I don't know if that's realistic.
What about 3? There was 3 of them on the map at once.
Are we just gonna do DNA where we like add a sploosh every time we lose, but instead of a 52 gal? Like,
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, go off, I guess. Go off. I'm here for it. You and I both are here for it because we were completely surprised at what just happened. And the game ended pretty quickly, so I'm feeling like I'm having a good time, and I hope you are too, Toma. But you know what? Clam Blitz on Inkblot, we can move forward from this. We can move past the tri-sploosh and double blob phenomena that just graced our presence a few moments ago. With what Aquatic Vanguard has been running, this is a perfect place for Twig to cause some havoc if they are going to stay on that Brush with the Zipcaster, because so many surfaces to attach onto, so much high ground to take advantage of. So, I mean, how is Sao Tome going to respond to that? I do think that having Micah in their hands with the pencil is going to be really, really important, because, I mean, their aim has been on point. Yeah, okay, you can see we're now returning the dust has settled. Yeah, the dust has settled. The world is now rebalanced once again here on Splatoon Tourney as we go into Clam Blitz finally. I do like that Ike is taking the Splatling pick. I think that's going to be super nice. The Wavebreaker has been really advantageous, I think, for Aquatic Vanguard throughout the evening when they were able to use it. So that's going to be super good, and especially because there's so much verticality on this map in different places. So you can get that Wavebreaker really high up, and I mean, you turn people into moving targets, and I think especially for Aquatic Vanguard, having that heat-seeking on their side is going to be really important for trying to push forward. But you got to be careful, though, because if Sao Tome is going to have a really good clam economy in their pockets, boy howdy, you have a storm coming.
Yeah, for sure, Saf, right now, the fight going out here as Ike is going to be jumping out, saying that they want to keep their life there instead of going down for that fight, which they probably wouldn't have won, looking at how damaged they were. But the Sao Tome going to move in here, find the first checkpoint break. They do have some clams in the basket to be able to follow up. They get that power. And now just Micah really being forced to back up as Aquatic Vanguard's going to be retaking a lot of space here into mid once again, trying to set up. Ike has that power clam ready to go if they're able to find a way in here, which they do have the zip. They do have the 52 gal with this whale ready to go. They've already found one down. An opportunity may be forming soon as you see that whale being popped, but Ike needs to go forward, sees that there's one over there, maybe doesn't feel quite safe enough, throws the power clam up for one of their teammates, knowing that, the end may be coming for them, but able to find the pick, but nobody able to pick up that clam there, Staff, as it's going to break on the plat of Sao Tome, and now they're just trying to find their way back into mid and trying to get Aquatic Vanguard out of there, but you can see that they're not ready to give this up.
Yeah, Sinnoh and Ike are doing a really good job holding this right-hand side here, and now Sinnoh with launching that killer whale. Unfortunately, though, getting caught in the coattails of Ike going down, or excuse me, of Twig going down, so Sinnoh finding themselves also going down. So Aquatic Vanguard at a disadvantage here, and Sao Tome is going to take full speed ahead as they now have Power Clam in their possession. They have a good hold on mid, but I mean, again, Aquatic Vanguard just has the power. They have the tools to break back out into mid when they need to. Even if they are losing their lives a little bit, they're still able to get back out when they need to because they are able to bring that fight to Sao Tome as well, as Sao Tome now finds themselves in a 2-down situation. But you just gotta be so cautious of trying to push forward, especially if you're Sinnoh with a target on your back, trying to get up into that plat area, because you can see the members of Sao Tome are doing such a great job of spreading out their resources on the plat. They don't want to let Aquatic Vanguard move forward. They're just playing the long defensive game, and with 2 minutes to spare, that's a long time, Toma.
Yeah, it definitely is. They have, you know, the opportunity to work here. Sinnoh going to be coming in here, finding that power clam in, and they have a jump in, trying to make it in. It does connect. They need just one clam to bring the lead up, but they aren't going to be able to find it as Twig gets forced back. But now they are in a much better situation, Saf. If they need to make another push, they just need to find, look at that, one power clam plus one small clam to be able to take that lead. But you know, before they can even worry about taking the lead, they've got to worry about Sao Tome, who is up here already. They have a lot of clams. They have a power clam plus a ton more in the basket, so they can't falter their defense here, or they can find themselves in a potential knockout situation.
Yeah, they got to play this super carefully because this is a very uncomfortable place to be, especially if you are Sao Tome. But Aquatic Vanguard knows that they have them in right where they want them to try and to flip the tides here. So Nerd opting to push forward to go clear out their platform area, not finding another pick, but they're looking for it. They're looking for it, and they're putting a lot of paint down to try to give some space to the other members of Aquatic Vanguard to come in. But again, we just keep finding these trades. Lots of trades happening on both sides, so only Nerd being the last one left. But Toma, I don't think they know. I don't think they know that Nerd is there, and Nerd is going to play this really patiently and until they reveal themselves, but a little bit too soon, as they were able to take Cookie down with them, but not the other splat that they were looking for, unfortunately. 25 seconds remaining here. Aquatic Vanguard only 1 point away and some change here to try to make it happen, to try to make a change. And with Sinnoh once again finding another power clam in their possession, but unfortunately going down before they could even to get the whole thing to fruition. I mean, so this is looking good for Sao Tome, Toma.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the 52 going down there was really bad for Aquatic Vanguard. It ended up costing them a lot of space. It cost them that whale to really push off of. They do still have an opportunity here, but they have to move pretty fast. Saf, you can see this timer ticking down, but 2 down is going to be really difficult. It's being pushed back with this power clam.
No, dear.
Wipe, Saf, and it looks like Sao Tome is going to be the one moving on to semi-finals here in Division 4.
Yeah, Sao Tome putting up such a good fight. GG's to Aquatic Vanguard, but Toma, again, if we look over at the bracket, so Sao Tome, congratulations, moving on to the semifinals, playing Parallax next week in the semifinals. Parallax, though, another team that we got to see very often, at least once or twice here on Splatoon Tourney, so we got to see a little bit of their journey through the group stage, so congratulations to them. But looking in on the final replay, 5 seconds remaining, you can see Aquatic Vanguard trying to close in on this plat, Ike having the power clam in their possession, Sinnoh trying to go and get set up and to launch that killer whale perpendicular to the stage, which could be super beneficial for Aquatic Vanguard if they just had enough tools and unfortunately didn't lose any members trying to go down there, because you can see that killer whale was perfect in trying to displace the folks on the left-hand side. But I think with that wave breaker in the way too that Ike was hitting, definitely a good body block for Bread to keep themselves alive and to not overextend and push in front of the wave breaker there. So well played by Sao Tome, but I mean, Aquatic Vanguard putting up quite the fight for them this evening, did not make the win easy.
No, you're absolutely right there, Saf. And you know, we gotta see it all. Great fights, close games, and arguably the most interesting game that we've seen on Splatoon Tourney. At least in quite a while. But this was just such a good set. So many awesome moments highlighted for both teams, and goes to show that, you know, both of them have made it here for a reason. But Sao Tome taking that edge, going to be moving on, going on to hopefully, you know, take their shot at being your Division 4 champions. But of course, going to throw it back to Falco to wrap us up for the night.
Yeah, thank you so much, Toma. Thank you, Saf. Hey, Splatoon 22 Raiders, those of you who are watching the Div 10 set on Splatoon 22, welcome on in. We just wrapped up our set, DR versus Aquatic Vanguard. Let's take a look and see what happened during this set. So, again, a lot of oh, that is a very zoomed up video. We're gonna resize that. That was yeah, I know that was okay. We're gonna fit
really
to
want to
screen.
see the score right now.
You know, yeah. In case you wanted to see the score, of course. But this was okay. So we hopped in here during game 2. This was our first replay. DR got the set win, or got the game win on game 1. Here we see Aquatic Vanguard trying to defend here on game 2, and here is where they're going to turn it up on their push going into this overtime here. They have a few power claims online, one power claim trying to push in. It has been very, very strong for them trying to push in. Let's see if they can do it. And I mean, we know the score. We know they did it.
We saw it.
We know
They did it.
we know
They did
we know
that.
they got it. We know they got it, and then we're able to get the wonderful push there. But here is where, you know, really DR started to kick off and just really dominate SAF. They seem to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, this was where they really took it up a notch, because that last game against Aquatic Vanguard with that opening to gain the lead in clams was absolutely huge, and they were like, all right, we got to keep mind of this Zipcaster. We have to know where they're going to try to be, and we have to position ourselves in a good place to where we can't let them try to take us down. And the same thing happening here, because as soon as they were able to get the man advantage even here in tower, I mean, it was so good for Sao Tome. They had a lot of time to make up for here, especially because, like, look at this. They're all back on the right-hand side. Aquatic Vanguard's already knocking on their door in the midsection here. But they had so much time to recover, and they were able to take Sinnoh down in the process as they were coming back into the map, finding the double.
Yeah, it was, I mean, textbook plays there for DR, Sao Tome. And here, Toma, this is where DR was trying to get their push, and they were able to get a good lead here. This elbow bend here on Humpback Rainmaker is so crucial, because if you are a few players down, it is so hard to regroup and try and get some of your players back into the game.
Yeah, it is, and it lined up perfectly for them there, and you kind of saw from the bottom edge that even just the blob blobber, utilizing those blobs from its weapon, the unique ability that it has to paint like that, to just get up there and paint that pedestal.
Yeah, and Saf going into this game 6 here, you know, DR, they're waiting. There's just one more win to get the set win. And of course here, this is where they had the lead. All they have to do is make one solid stop. And we see Ike here is the only one with a power claim. All eyes are going to be on them. 2 players are going to be alive, and they're going to be the one alive and a wipeout. And that is pretty much Science Seal delivered. DR, they are yours.
Yeah, I mean, Cookie was wasting no time. Cookie was going to waste no time there. They knew they could see the man advantage up at the top of the board, and they were like, this is my time to act. Even if I go down swinging, I'm going to be taking Ike with me no matter what, which is exactly what you want to do in that scenario. I mean, the games can happen and move so quickly, like who has special, who's down, who's up, who's respawning, who's where. I mean, you take really flips of that mini map, right? And so it all happens so quickly, but there's always going to be a time and place where you're like, this is my moment, and Cookie did just that.
Yeah, and it was very impressive. And of course we had the other game where the reason why we didn't have a replay is because I literally had to go up and use the restroom, and I could not click the replay. And I know that was a crucial moment with like the double blob and the meme comps, and things happened, but we didn't have it. You guys can watch VOD for that. But on Splatoon 21 right now, we are still going strong here. Squidlet Overdrive 4-2 over Squid Salad. So Squid Salad hoping to get a win to prolong this. So we'll give you guys a little bit of a live look in here as the set is going to wrap up. But don't you guys worry, because we are going to be rating them at the conclusion of our stream, which will be in, you know, probably just like about a minute or so. So a lot of looty action coming your way. And we'll send you guys over to that Div 9 match over on Splatoon 21. But before we do that, Saf and Toma, it's been a pleasure. Saf, where's your big man? Where's your? Okay, you got him. Okay, thank you. We've got our big mans here. We've got them. I'm so happy to see that. Big men. We've got big men here on Splatoon 20. But we are going to go rate Splatoon 21. Saf and Toma, it has been a pleasure. Where can we find you guys? Saf, we'll start with you.
You can find me at Safiria 2Ps 2As over on Twitter, Blue Sky, roaming the woods for mushrooms. Knitting, trying to get into knitting, maybe sewing. I don't know. Got to do something with the hands. You know those stem things. Am I right, ladies? Toma, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Crest of Gautier, Twitch at twitch.tv/ttoma_, and you can find Big Man on my head. But Falco, where can they find you?
You can find me Falco Flyer on Twitch, FalcoFlyer11 on Twitter, and we will see you guys in Splatoon Tourney 1. We will be back live again next week for a majority of the semi-final matches for our Ludi Divs and a few of the finals. So we will see you guys again. Join us on the Splatoon Tourney 1 raid, and we will see you later. Have a good night.